Good morning, traders. It is 8:01 a.m. Chicago time on Wednesday, the 18th of August, 2021. This is episode number 2054. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. First things first, I want to make sure I get a mic check. Just give me an idea of where I am in the audio spectrum. It is sometimes too low, too loud, whatever. It depends on what Windows feels like doing that day. Appreciate that. Let's jump right into the pre-market summary sheet here as we follow the same routine, checking on the broader market and the overall risk posture in the overnight session. The risk posture today really is neutral to mixed. We have markets that have dipped a little bit below when this report was done. A bit high, okay. When this report was done about 10 minutes ago, the market has pushed lower a little bit, and we're seeing the NASDAQ lead that push. NASDAQ moving towards the in the direction of the low overnight, and leading the pack with 16 points. Actually, the Euro stocks are leading currently to the sell side, but overall markets are not really indicating much. So we have a neutral posture. Crude oil is pushing higher a little bit by 55 cents. Remember, we have inventories today at 10:30 Eastern. Crude oil stock changes in gasoline. Also, we have FOMC minutes at 2 o'clock. We saw Ether have an 8% swing in yesterday or overnight. ETH is down by $3,000, $3,059. Bitcoin is holding steady above that 41,000 at 45,225. The S&P balanced overall. It's kind of not a very pretty profile, but it's balanced overall. We have decent volume today, 152,000. The overnight inventory is positive. That seems off. Positive 62%. That seems off to me. I would say the inventory is somewhat negative, actually. I need to check on that link there. That dynamic link, there's something odd about that. That doesn't seem right to me. The inventory, much of the volume in the overnight session took place below yesterday's closing price and settle. Specifically, the point of control is at 44.38, settles at 44.43.50. So that's off. The inventory is expected to be either neutral to slightly down, slightly short. The range 16.25 points. Point of control 44.38, just above the current pricing. We'll look at that in a moment. The key events and the event risk is market still reeling from the U.S. Retail sales miss yesterday. That's been percolating this morning. Target and Lowe's, major retailers, reported. And then we're expecting NVIDIA, Cisco, Synopsys, and Spartan Nash to report after the close. Let me double check on Target. Target reported, had a 4.3% surprise, expected at $3.49, came in at $3.64, and basically $25 billion in revenue versus the $25.16 billion versus the estimated $25.080 billion. So the surprise on the revenue side is just 32 basis points. So that was pretty much dead on. Lowe's, which is a very large hardware retailer, home improvement retailer, came in at $4.25 versus $4. It's a surprise of 6%. And the revenue came in at 27.57 versus 26.79, or plus 2.9%. Surprise to the upside. NVIDIA, which is part of the Fangman Group, is expected to report $1.02 on 6.33 billion in revenue. Cisco expected at 82 cents at 13 billion in revenue, and Spartan Nash is looking at 48 cents and 2 billion in revenue. So that's where that stands. Let's take a look at what was expected yesterday. If you recall, yesterday we went through the context, and we discussed how a test of the 51-52 area is very important. That's covered right here. Is very important. The expectation, though, is it's not able to take the 51, and then it's likely to turn over, take out the 37, 33, and 30. There's a double bottom at 30, and then the target is around the 20 area, 20 to 22, the top of the former balance. So the primary scenario is for it to sell off into 2022 and then bounce later in the session as shown there. Here's what we got. Pretty busy session yesterday. In our review segment, interesting. Here's what we got overall. We had a market that had an open auction in range, so it basically bounced back and forth here, putting in a clear opening swing. Let's expand that a little bit. A clear opening swing. Lots and lots of lines crossing this screen here, but they're somewhat important. The bigger the gapped lines, or the boxes, are full session, mid, full session, VWAP, and then the lines are RTH, mid, RTH defined as a cash session from 9:30 Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. And the blue line is RTH mid. Pretty important. At some point, we expect these lines to converge on each other in the session as the RTH session gets the heavier volume. So the VWAPs tend to collapse into each other. But both or either can get a reaction. So this is why we keep them up. So we put in this opening swing. It looked like it would take out the 51 and start pushing towards 60, in which case we'd expect a 74 to be on deck. But it went to 51.75, pulled all the way back, and pushed down to 36 and a quarter. Remember, 37 over here was an important one. 37, 33, 30, right? 30, and then 22 down below, down here. So those are the key areas we're watching out for in yesterday's pre-market plan. Attempts, so now we have a triple top here. Attempts that 51 again is unable, pulls back to RTH mid and VWAP, makes another run at that 51 and is again unable, pulls back to RTH mid, makes another run, finally breaks through to 53.5, and sellers come right back in. Full session VWAP holds here after being trampled on, and then we start the migration down. Pretty tough area right here. This is pretty nasty right there, because this impulse down, as you can see down here, impulse down at 15 and a quarter points. This is expected to pull back, and you can see it pulling back and creating a zipper right here at the RTH mid. We expect it to pull back. We expect the continuation lower. We expect this to continue lower, not to cross the range again. So that's a tough thing to plan for. And the only plan you can have for such an event is your stop. And that's a stop out right there. And so this reverses the impulse down with an impulse up. As you can see here, 9.5 up, 15 and a quarter down, and then it goes sideways. And then when it finally gives it up, it becomes hard to get on the short side. At least I found it hard to get on the short side until the retest of the IB from below. And so that's where we stand. Once we get the 44.12 test, we put in a higher low and we get this impulse back into mid, the opportunity for a mid short against the prior low, this green line, that's a structured short right there. For me, that was the only comforting structured short that existed yesterday. And it brought us back into the 22 area. And then from there, we set up a base, higher low, and then we start to squeeze back into the range. Notice the pullback right to the same area, 32, for a base to make another push, but it could not get through the OS low, and this became murky. It became obvious that we are likely to hold and continue higher later in the session, so I took a long late in the session in the 39 to 45 and a quarter, I believe, is the one I posted on Convergent Trading Head Trader Chat. And it ended up getting filled right at the close with 45.50 being the high at the close. It's nice to see a lot of rotations yesterday. That's a good thing to see. Volume yesterday was quite high, 1.46 million. We've had volumes been pretty regularly off between 25 and 35% on a daily basis this month. A really tough trading, as I discussed yesterday. We close around 45 or so, and then we open, we sell off immediately, we pull back. We've been doing that a lot in the Asian session, and then we bounce back up and we hold sideways. So far, we have somewhat of a balanced profile. It does look like it is unable to sustain higher prices. Remember, we put in multiple tops here at 51 to 53. So remember this area, 51 to 53. Not only is it the mid-century figure, but this is where the market failed to continue higher, but it also held the 22 top of the balance box. Those of you who are in the Convergent Trading Trade Talk yesterday, we discussed this 22 to 65, 43.65 zone, and whether or not we hold it is an important thing. But in the overnight session, with the strength that we saw on the close, you would expect us to make it through to 51 and squeeze through, and we did not. We made a rounded top at 48.49. At 48.49, and we're holding in this inverted cup and handle formation. This will be the what is that point on the cup and handle? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, that point means something in a cup and handle formation. The peak or the trough in an inverted cup and handle formation, and we're breaking through it. This looks somewhat bearish, and not to mention that it's below the overnight point of control. We are below the full session, mid full session VWAP, which are on top of each other, which also lead into or indicate balance when those two are together, especially if they're together with the overnight point of control. There's some gap between them right now, but when those are together, it indicates the market is really in balance. It's trading a lot in the middle, and the VWAP is converging on the mid, and so we're beneath that. So to me, this looks like it is likely to try to advertise prices lower and explore lower. I'm looking for it to push into this 25 area, this low volume node that you see on the left, this 25 area, before it starts attacking this lower distribution. I'd love to see it attack that lower distribution. It creates better opportunity. In my opinion, a run for 44.01, which is the MC point of control of the balance range from 22 to 65. So 4400, 44.01 would be the next target down if we take the low of yesterday at 11. And I think that'll provide more rotations, more volume, and a better opportunity. But we'll see what the market has for us. But right now, we pushed higher, made a rounded top, set up a base, and then created a weak attempt to push higher against settlement. It could not take settle out at 44, 45.50, and now it's pushing lower. So to me, it looks like it's opening weak. Okay, big picture, real quick. I know there's a lot to cover here, but big picture coming into this. Those of you who are convergent are going to hear this again, but overall, just to make things plain and simple, here's the last balance. Okay, we gapped up at the beginning of the month, and we bounced from 2250, really 2250 to about 65. 2250 to about 65. So 44, 2250 to 43.65. And we gapped up this, actually this day's included here. We gapped up on non-farm payrolls here at the beginning of the month, and we've been running up, and now we're poking into that. The point of control of this balance range is 4401 or 4400, as I talked about yesterday. It's not about precision, but 4401 becomes the point of control. If the point of control is tested and it drops below the point of control, then you're looking at a double bottom, and you can see it here, a double bottom at around 65, and that becomes the next key target for any shorts and a good place to reduce or cover a short. So the important question is, do we get back down there? Remember, we're looking for it to test 25. If it gets below 25, it's likely to run through to 11 this morning. So we've been holding steady above that balance range, and it looks like it is really starting to turn over. One-time framing up on the daily has been established on the short side. So the day before yesterday was the break, and then yesterday established the new one-time framing. The one-time framing on the weekly is still long, so we need to pay attention to that time frame. But overall, it's looking like it's turning over. Okay, let's take a look at what's expected for today. Okay, so what are we looking at for today? We're opening, again, below VWAP, full session VWAP, below the overnight point of control in what is a relatively even overnight inventory. I'm expecting this to be a choppy open. Remember, we're opening in range. We have 3 distributions from yesterday. We're opening in range, expecting it to chop here, but overall, I'm looking for it to drop into the 25 area. 25, that's a nasty looking 20, and then 22 below there. Looking for it to bounce, consolidate, and then I'm looking for a grind higher. Yesterday established a pretty decent low in the overnight session. This is a V bottom reversal. I'm expecting those buyers to step back in and take us back to the point of control from yesterday, which was right on top of, pretty much on top of the opening print. So I'm expecting us back at 45 up here, or 46 actually. And I'm looking for it to squeeze and make an attempt at that 51, 53 area, 51 to 53 area. So a test down, and then we're looking for buy the dippers to come in and take us back up just like they did yesterday. The action yesterday showed that prices dropped low enough for buyers to step in and take it back up, expecting the same today. The alternative is an open auction that makes an attempt towards the 46, sees an impulse down, gets us back down into 25, unable to hold at 25, and then it starts to move down into the 44.01. 44.01 becomes the next area down to test. 44.01 for the late afternoon bounce. I'm expecting this to grind up today. I had planned for it to fall yesterday to 22. It did, but today I'm expecting it to hold steady. Given the context of what it did yesterday afternoon, I expect it to hold steady and buyers to come in a little bit later in the session and lift us up. We have the Fed meeting minutes at 2, the FOMC minutes at 2 o'clock. Not expecting too much crazy stuff there, but overall, this market will find any reason to buy, and it'll buy, and I'm expecting it to do so this morning. We'll see how it goes. Good luck, and and don't forget today, I'm on a webcast with Kelly Farrell, a fund manager, to talk about what how the OTF plans, trades, and executes the market and controls risk. We'll be discussing how she came about her strategy for her fund, which trades the S&P options, and micro ES. You can go to, please follow the link to go to ct.pro/fund-manager. It is also at the top of the live chat screen here. It is also in the description of the video and also on the Convergent Trading feed. I'll catch you there at 4:30 Eastern today. Good luck.